I'm David Kenworthy. I was the first chair of iNADO. About 12 years ago, a group of us got together and talked about setting up a membership organisation. Of course, there was a lot of work to do. We had to set up a project, we had to set out the constitution, we even had to get permission from the Secretary of State in the UK to call ourselves an institute. But anyway, we got going, we set up, and 10 years ago, we finally started iNADO. Of course, the journey can be quite exciting, but the actual destination, the setting up of iNADO, was actually quite terrifying, because suddenly you're starting to employ people. And Joseph de Ponsier, our first chief executive, gave up a really good job to come and join us. It's at that point that you realise the enormity of what you've taken on. Highlights during my time as chair? Well, I suppose the one that really sticks out in my memory is the support we were able to give to Yulia Stepanova and her husband Vitaly during the Russian doping scandal. At that time, it must have been absolute hell for them. They were giving evidence against their own country. They had to move to America. And we could give them moral support. We couldn't do much else. But I remember talking to them at one of our, over the air, at one of our conferences, and being impressed with how brave they were in what they were doing. But now, here you are celebrating 10 years, and I think that you have achieved the vision that we set out. In fact, you've done better than probably the vision we set out. And I'm very, very proud to have been the first chair. And I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you.
What a great theme for this 10th anniversary workshop, our largest ever. I'm Doug McQuarrie, a former chair of iNADO. Just over 10 years ago, we set out to embrace transparency, to establish a solid foundation of excellence, and to rebuild trust. This could only be possible by working together. 10 years later, that same sentiment is embodied in the latest strategic plan, working together towards excellence. We've now grown to 62 NADOs and 4 RADOs. Strategic operations and financial stability have been key. Member needs and capacity building have always been at the core. Thank you to all the staff and volunteer leaders over the years. Thanks to NADOs who have encouraged their personnel to participate in iNADO activities and to volunteer with us. Thanks to WADA for recognizing how critical NADOs are to global anti-doping and for their early financial support. Thanks to UCAD for getting the ball rolling and to NADA Germany for its ongoing support. What does the future hold? Member recruitment and retention will be critical. There are still many NADOs and RADOs that are not yet members. We need involvement from around the world with more diversity in our membership and our volunteers. And we need more women active as leaders and practitioners. Let's all work together to build on the important theme of this workshop. Thanks very much. Best wishes, good luck to all, and happy 10th anniversary, iNADO.
Dear anti-doping colleagues, dear iNADO, my name is Michael Ask. I'm a previous member of the iNADO board, and I had the great privilege to chair the board between 2019 and 2021. I remember my first experience with iNADO. It was when I met the former CEO of iNADO, Joseph de Ponsier. Not only did he have the, until today, most impressive moustache I have ever witnessed in anti-doping, but he also had a very compelling way of advocating for the importance of strong and independent NADOs. I think iNADO stands stronger than ever today, helping its members by building up the capacity and expertise, and at the same time trying to voice now more than 70 members. It's not an easy task to cover the voices of that many, or as my predecessor as chair, Doug McQuarrie, used to say, it's like being caught between a rock and a hard place. But I think iNADO found the right path, and I'm convinced that iNADO has a very important role to play in also shaping the next 10 years of international anti-doping work and policy. Congratulations and keep up the good work.
Greetings, dear friends and colleagues. I'm sorry I cannot be with you in person to mark more than a decade of iNADO's contribution to protecting clean athletes. I was hired to lead an association that would be the independent voice of anti-doping organizations worldwide and would support and improve the work of anti-doping practitioners such as yourselves. iNADO first operated from my kitchen in Ottawa, Canada, and then from the Starbucks in the Munsterplatz in the center of Bonn, where the tea was good and the Wi-Fi was free. Then we moved into office space rented from the NADA Germany, where Jorge, Caitlin, Janka, and Eleda are now. Thank you, Dr. Andrea Gottsman and Lars Mortzeifer, so very much for your support over the years. I congratulate those of you attending this year's iNADO workshop in AGM. It is the worldwide membership of iNADO, now including RADOS, and the collaboration among you, its members, that make the practice of anti-doping so vital and so increasingly effective. I trust all of you will continue to strive for clean sport together. Cheers and all the best.
Well, a very warm welcome from the deep South Pacific, from what is a very wet New Zealand. So hello to all my friends and colleagues from around the world. I'm really pleased to recognise iNADO's 10th anniversary. It's been a tremendous achievement to get this far, and the organisation has, I think, done a lot and will continue to do so. I'd like to start by just recognising the hardest workers in all of that. The previous chairs, David Kenworthy, Doug Macquarie, Michael Ask, and currently Mick Patterson, because they inevitably bear the brunt of the work on a volunteer basis. And certainly Joseph de Poncia and Jorge Leyva have done tremendous work as the CEOs who really don't have a huge amount of resource and achieve a lot. NADOs have historically been the primary movers in developing new ways to combat doping and try to achieve clean sport. As an example, in the mid-1990s, there was a group of NADOs who came together to draft what became, in effect, the international standard for testing. The task for all of you, if you want iNADO to really thrive and to be the leader that it should be, is for you to be involved. It is for you not just to be passive, but to come up with ideas, to share ideas, and to think of ways that we can make our work more effective and to take the whole movement forward. So that's your task over the next day or two or a few days and for the future. I wish you well in that, and if I can contribute in some way, then please come back to me and let me know. Other than that, best wishes to you all.